What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for July 19th, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Quick housekeeping update before we move on. Heading down to Ocean City, Maryland in a few minutes. So, drop the new Back to the Future early. So, you can go find that wherever you get your podcast. It is posted as well as on YouTube. We take a look at the 01 through 06 Phillies and just why they could not get over the hump, despite having some pretty talented teams. So be sure to check that out wherever you get your podcasts as well as YouTube. Since I will be in Ocean City, we will be on location. I haven't missed a day since we've done that, vacations, wherever. So back to figuring out the sound system, but I will pack the mic and the cord, so we'll have that going for us. But good win for the Phils last night, 4-3. Nola looked like the ace, and he is the enigma. You just never know what you're going to get with him from start to start, but he looked absolutely great last night, going 7 1/3, gave up 2 earned runs, 6 Ks. Kimbrel came in, got the save. Schwarber hit the first pitch and they were off and running, which was good. They still hit 2 for 10 in runners in scoring position, so it could have been a lot more of a blowout. But overall, good win. We'll take it against a good team. All of a sudden now, they've leapfrogged the Marlins. We're a half game up on them, half game back of the Diamondbacks. And then the San Francisco Giants are a game and a half. Our old pal Gabe. So want to continue to just take down the teams in front of us. Braves lost, so we're actually have that lead down to under 10. Remember, I said before the All-Star break, I don't know why, but I feel like that this lead is going to shrink, and the division race is going to be a much closer race than what it is right now. So stay tuned for that. If you want more Phillies coverage, check out our friends at 2008 Phils. They have the biggest Phillies email newsletter in the world. I've been telling you about it for a couple weeks now. It is a must-read. And right now they're offering, for a limited time, 75% off to this day in Philly sports history listeners. If you follow the link in the description, it'll take you, get you signed up. You'll be good to go. And what do you get for a subscription? You get access to all of the archives, all of the discussions, everything they have. I've told you before, like I read it regularly. I check out the archives, especially when I'm looking for just ideas and information for both of my podcasts. So be sure to check them out. You get like I said, access to everything. You get that 2008 Phillies championship banner t-shirt. Their Twitter account will follow you if that's what you want. Told you they have a lot of followers, so they've done a good job helping increase our listenership. So if you're looking to build your brand, it's definitely worth it for that. Access to special giveaways, autographs, tickets, memorabilia, and it's only $2 a month. You can't beat that. 75% off for just the great content. Or just do $20 for the whole year. I've said it and I've said it again. The content is great, but $20 just for the t-shirt is worth it. And then you get all the great content on top of it. You can't beat it. So follow that link for 75% off specifically for this day in Philly sports history listeners. You'll be glad you did. All right, it is now time for our daily Sixers update on As the Harden Turns. And Daryl Morey finally spoke out and addressed some things yesterday. And he talked, but I don't know how much he said. And the big takeaway was for Harden, they want a player of equal value, or basically it's going to be able to continue get them over the hump and get them to where they were, or draft picks that they can groom into a player that are going to get them there. Yeah, we knew that. That's why he's not traded to the Clippers yet, because the Clippers aren't willing to give that up for Harden. I'm not really sure who is, and I think it's going to come down to a 3 or 4 team trade to get this trade done. But for the most part, they're not getting what they want because nobody's willing to do it. And I think overall, I'm fine with Daryl Morey doing that. And the big report was, I forget who it was, but one of the guys on ESPN was like, hey, well, the relationship between Morey and Harden has been fractured. No shit. I mean, that's ultimately why part of the reason why Harden wants out. And I think I would love to know, and I don't know if we're ever going to know really what happened, because obviously I think we upgraded it with our head coach, but the rumors were that Harden was the one that wanted Doc out, and that Joel liked Doc. So we'll see what happens with that. But again, he talked, but he didn't really say much. Maxey, he did say they are going to extend him eventually, but they're waiting, and they've already been in contact with his representation. Apparently, there's some loophole in, excuse me, the new CBA when it kicks in that's going to allow the Sixers to sign a player as well as Max. Whatever it is, I guess it's just a loophole. He's like a cornerstone of the franchise. They're not looking to trade him. So we'll see. We've heard that a lot of times from our general managers, and next thing you know, the player is out. But it did seem like he had a legitimate laid out plan on Tyrese Maxey's future. He did address the Joel Embiid thing, said they talked. I don't know how I feel about this. He was just like, oh, Joel was having a Joel day. And I think, I don't know. I think it's kind of time now for Joe to sort of step up and be the leader. And everybody, by all accounts, he's kind of keeps to himself and does his own thing. But I think he needs to step up and be a leader. I don't doubt that he wants to win a championship. I don't doubt that he wants to win a championship here. I don't necessarily think he wants to go anywhere. I think he said something and then was like, oh, crap, I shouldn't have said this. But hopefully it lights a fire under the front office. But I also hope it lights a fire under him. Like, that's great to say, but you got to step up now and do your part. You got to will that team. And it's one thing to do it in the regular season against the Cleveland Cavaliers, but it's another to do it in the playoffs against the Boston Celtics in Game 7. So I get what he's saying, but I also think you need to take a look inward and figure out what you can do. I'm not as upset as everybody else is. Yesterday, Sports Talk was on fire with Joe making the comments, and truthfully, I don't think he said anything that we're not thinking. I don't think he said anything that should be taken as, and everybody's like, oh, it's a big story. Yeah, it is, but you know what? Yeah, I mean, maybe he got Morey's attention. They talked, they worked it out, and they moved on. So we'll see. But that is our daily As the Harden Turns update. More on that tomorrow. Quick Eagles update, just because training camp is coming up next week, and I think this is great. Got a little peek behind the curtain. John Clark interviewed Doug Peterson, and they talked about when Jalen Hurts was drafted, and they said it was a collaborative effort, and they had one of two guys there. Jalen Hurts was one. I forget who they said the other guy was, but they drafted him basically because he's a flat-out winner. And you'd love to hear things like that, especially as we've seen his maturation process. And he's not surprised at the success he has. He basically highlighted all of the best parts of Jalen Hurts is why they drafted him. So it's good to hear from Dougie P that this was sort of more of a collaborative, because it seemed like he was put in a tough situation between Wentz and Hurts, and it also didn't help that Wentz just completely hid from any sort of competition. But that's our quick Eagles update. More Eagles coming up in less than a week. As you can see, I'm very excited. If you want to get excited and show your support for the Eagles or even the Phils, who have been red hot, go to phillygoat.com. They have a wide selection of Eagles and Phillies apparel. They're always adding new stuff as well. So constantly check the website, refresh, sign up for their mailing list so you can get the updates when they add new shirts sent to your email. But it's great quality. Make sure it has the authentic goat on the sleeve. You can get any color, any size of their shirts, and I highly recommend it. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order, and show your pride for the Phils and the Eagles, who start training camp in less than a week, and I am pumped for it. All right, kind of an interesting this day in Philly sports history today. We're going to go back to 1993. And on this day, July 19th, 1993, the Phillies beat the Dodgers 7-5 out in L.A. Future Phil's radio color analyst for away games, Kevin Stocker, went 3 for 4, had an RBI, 1 run, 2 stolen bases. Remember, when they called him up, he became sort of the spark for that team, and he did not necessarily make errors at shortstop the way that Juan Bell did. But the big story in this game was John Kruk got hit in the groin on a wild pickoff throw by Mitch Williams. You can imagine, I'm not going to go into too many details, but his cup broke, and he felt discomfort in that area all year. Still managed to lead them to the World Series, hit .316, 14 homers, 85 RBI, scored 100 runs. But the discomfort did not go away, and that following spring, went to the doctors, and it led to the discovery of his testicular cancer. And we all know that story where he had to have a testicle removed and whatnot. Now, the throw itself did not cause the cancer, but the throw helped lead to the discovery of it. And this is the PSA portion of the podcast today. Just be careful and be sure to check yourselves out, because a lot of times there is nothing other than a little bit of discomfort that a lot of times we'll just ignore and deal with. So make sure you take it serious. It's a very, very curable cancer if you get it checked out in enough time. And so luckily, Mitch Williams was the wild thing for a reason, because this helped lead to the discovery of the testicular cancer for John Kruk. But on this day, the Phils did beat the Dodgers 7-5 behind Kevin Stocker's strong game, but it was that errant throw that hit John Kruk that ultimately saved his life, basically. So it's an interesting, like I said, an interesting one for today. But be careful out there and check yourselves out. All right, time for the Philly Sports Most Lovable Loser Tournament update. And it was the 86-87 Flyers, the 5 seed, knocking off the 85-86 Flyers, the 8 seed with 80% of the vote. They move on to the Flyers Regional Final that will take place later this week, early next week. Today we go to the second round of the Phillies Regional, and what a matchup this is, man! I'm really excited to see where you guys go with this. But we have the number 2 seed, those 93 Phils with John Kruk and Mitch Williams, versus last year's team, the number 6 seed, 2022. And how did we get here? The 93 team beat the 2011 Phils, the 7 seed. They were tied. They went to a 7-game series that went 7 games that had to go to a tiebreaker game on that. So they just squeaked by, but they moved on. We know all about that team, that lovable bunch with Kruk, Dalton, Dave Hollins, Pete Incaviglia. Just a fun team to watch. They almost went wire to wire, beat the Braves, and then ultimately fell short when Joe Carter hit the home run. We know all about the 2022 Phillies. They were the 6th seed. They beat the 1950 Phillies with 67% of the vote. We know how they got hot right around this time. Struggled a little bit there in the end of August and September, but did get in, and they got hot at the right time. Still say they should have beaten the Astros, but there's always this year. So I did play this game on What If Sports, and it was close, but the 93 Phillies did edge the 2022 Phillies 6-4. They had 2 games where they put up 19 and then another game, or 19 and 21s respectively. So the offense is clicking for that team right now in our tournament. So it's up to you now. Who wins, the 93 Phillies or the 2022 Phillies? And remember, this is about the level of disappointment, the talent level, whatever you think would happen, and however these teams resonate with you, that's how you vote. So leave a comment. If you're on Spotify, the poll is right there. Send me a text message. Again, we're getting more votes each day, but I know there's more people listening than are voting. So just somehow, some way, get that vote out there to me. Is it the 93 Phils or the 2022 Phils? Let me know. For the winner gets a spot in the Phillies Regional Final of the Philly Sports Most Lovable Loser Tournament. All right, on this day, back in 1993, the Phillies beat the Dodgers 7-5. John Kruk got hit in the groin by a pitch and helped lead to the discovery of his testicular cancer. I'm getting excited for Eagles training camp next week, and so should you. We have a lot of good football things up on the horizon. Be sure to check out our friends at Philly Goat and follow that link at 2008 Phils. Take advantage of that limited time. I mean, he's not going to keep it there forever, but 75% off, man. That's incredible. Be sure also to check out the new Back to the Future on the 01 through 06 Phils. It's just a Phils kind of day here. Can't wait to see what As the Heart and Turns brings us tomorrow. But Phils look to take the series today against the Brewers. Let's do it. Let's take out the Diamondbacks now and then keep our eyes on the Giants. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. I'm Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Wednesday. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.